So, I bought this cable from Aliexpress, and it reckons it's a, let's see, don't know if I can get it properly on here, but it reckons it's a fast charge cable, which is not, it's actually a slow charge cable. And I bought one that's got USB-C on both ends, right? That might be that one there, is it? Where does it say? So yeah, I tried it on my PDs. There's someone there complaining somewhere, the same as I did, that it doesn't work on all devices, and it doesn't work on my laptop to my mobile phone, which I will show in this documentary. What I've bought is one of these things here, 100 watts. It's got multiple outputs on the front. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got a fast charge port here called a PD3. It's also got a red socket here, which means it's USB powered. And we got two normal USB outputs here, which is like your old USB supplies. Both of them offer up to 3 amps, I think it is. This one here offers up to 5 amps. And the fast charge one, I think it has more intelligence built into it, and that can go up multiple voltages, from 5 to 20 volts, by talking to its chip that controls it inside the power adapter. This is the new power adapters that we get now. They're intelligent power. There's quite a lot of technical specs and things about it all. So you need a special cable that has a chip in it that talks to the power adapter to give the right, to make sure the cable's able to handle the current. As you know, as the more current you draw, the hotter the cable gets, and it melts and catches fire. A lot of the cables out there are not rated to be more than standard USB voltage, right, of maximum of 1 amp, right? Generally it's only half an amp out of the old USBs. Now we can get up to 100 watts, 5 amps, and that gets quite warm. So I've got this device here, and you can see it's powered up. I'm not sure if we could actually focus on what it's saying there. It's pretty crappy on the display here, but I don't know if you can actually read it or not. Seems out of focus for some reason. Why is it out of focus? Not sure what that's doing. That's strange. I'm not sure on this. Something's gone wrong. Dear, oh dear. Maybe this lens is dirty. Alright, take 2. Okay, so now we can read the front. Smart charger. And I've got another plug in one of those. USBs at the bottom. There's 4 outlets on it. Plus this one up here. Type C. PD. What does it say? You get PD3 and PD4 now. So, you should be able to plug a cable in the top here. going to your smartphone or mouse or anything like that, and it's, well, that mouse hasn't got intelligence in it, but we should be able to plug it into a smartphone and it should communicate. The cable, this cable will handle in the juice of the phone, and it doesn't work. And now I've got to try and prove it. How can I prove it? I need another phone. Hang on. I did say it's going to be complicated to document this, especially when you have to do it by yourself. So I'm going to plug the cable I got in the post. There's one there, and I've got another one here. Alright, you can see I've plugged it in. Plugged it in there. And I've got this phone here that I'll plug in. And I plugged it in there, made no sound. That's because there's no current going to it, because this cable hasn't got a chip in the connector that tells the smart charger there what its capabilities are, so as a safety thing it won't send any current down. And if I plug it into the mouse, it won't work either. Plug it into the mouse, it won't charge it. Now I've got a PD Decoy here. Whoop, went the wrong way. PD Decoy that you can program it to talk to the outlet and tell it what voltage you want, and it will tell me what current is being drawn. So if I plug that in there into the same socket, now it's plugged in, you can see it's all lit up. It's got some dip switches on it to change what voltage you want it to come out the side. And you can see here, once I get zoomed in, what's happened there? It has zoomed in, but anyway, says it's 5 volts. How do I change that? Oh, here we go. No. There we go. Okay, I didn't know that I had that on. Okay, so can we see that? Yeah, it's complicated, isn't it? To do a video. 5 volts. And it tells you also how much current it's drawing. At the moment, there's nothing plugged in to draw current through the device. Now I can plug that to the mouse and it's going to work now, because that decoy doesn't check the cable chip, unlike the power supply. So I can plug that in. And you can see that the mouse is now quite happily charging through that cable off that same port, but I had to use a decoy that has a nice LCD on it to tell us how much current it's drawing, and you can see 0.3 of an amp or 0.2 of an amp. It's very flickery looking on the screen here, but with your own eyes you don't get that. It's very strange. There you go, 0.3. So you can use it a bit like a USB checker. I've got another USB checker up here which I don't need to use because this does it just well. So you could say, oh, the cable works then. Yeah, only if I use a decoy with the cable. And the cable was meant to be a fast charge cable where you don't have to buy extra bits to get it to work. Now, a decoy, they call it PD Decoy, is because it emulates a device plugged in, and it tells it what kind of voltage you want, so you can plug in all sorts of things into it, like this little vacuum cleaner I bought from sucking up crumbs off the bed, and it's got a DC input, but it's 12 volts. So I can tell that decoy to be 12 volts and plug in another cable and charge that. So this is the clever power supplies we're getting now. So you only need one power supply, and you can use decoys to power up old equipment and charge it like we are doing here, simulating a slow charge still, because when we plug that decoy in, it's not going to be rapid charge anymore. Unless you use a proper cable, I suppose. It might do, but that cable won't. It's slow charge. And also I can plug that cable into an adapter. I can plug it into an adapter to make it big. And you can see now the mouse is not charging. It falls off the bed, off the table onto the bed. So I'll plug that into one of the other ports. I need my other hand. And there you go, I've plugged it in on the other second port there, which gives us up to 3 amps. And you can see it's charging the mouse. So it works quite happily that way on old power supplies, but not new ones. So cable is limited, you see. It's not for modern power supplies. Now, if I plug in the phone, I should have left it plugged in there probably. Yeah, let me put it back. So I'll plug in the other phone to prove that it clicks beeps that way, but it's slow charging. You can see it's powered on, plugged in the plug. And it's powered by Android, and I'll come up with the battery indicator. That's generally what happens with Android. Runs a little program that monitors the charging. There you go. Said it's full, which it should be. And there you go. It works on slow. But we saw it didn't work on rapid charge without using a decoy. We'll just pull that out and plug the cable in there, and it didn't work. So that's documented now. What else can I do to prove that the cable is limited? And they weren't cheap. I bought these ones because you can see my table gets really tangled up with cables, and having a little short cable going to phone and other products like the mouse is a lot more handier than having a long cable. But yeah, what else do I need to talk about? Yeah, but you can see here, this unit here says it's 100 watt, but it's not going to be 100 watts out of one socket only. If you've got multiple ones connected, it's going to split that wattage among all the devices. and it's no good to power up my laptop there, which is a gaming laptop. And you can see how much smaller it is to what you get on a laptop power supply, which goes up to 240 watts and something like is it 13 amps or something ridiculous. But they've just updated the PD power adapter specifications over USB, and then now they've got it going up to 240 watts just for gaming laptops. So this unit here, you can see it's very small, and a normal laptop power supply would be 4 times as big as that and gets very hot. Now they use a special metal in it, GANN is it? What's it say there on the screen? What's it stand for? I don't know. I'll probably have to Google it. But apparently this new metal doesn't get as hot as normal copper and other things they use in the old power supplies. It's more green energy, so to speak. So they can make the supplies smaller, but deliver the same wattage without the same heat and fire risks. So yeah, like I said, it's complicated, and I've been researching it and trying to understand. Oh, not bad back. What is it called? Can we actually read that at all? Don't know if it says there at all. Let me just have a look. Gotta get the mouse now. Power thing. Universal capability, high speed charging, right? And that's not a high speed cable. And yes, alright, it's PD. It got PD, it hasn't actually got what version it is. Alright, it's got QC there, quick charge 3. Type C, PD, so it should charge the phone off that if it is a proper cable. Now I haven't got a cable here, forgot to grab it, but there's a white cable that my mum has for her charging of her power adapter to her phone, and that worked, right? I took some pictures of it working with the voltage on the display. But yeah, what's the metal called? Metal. So yeah, so it talks about all the outputs on it. It's quite handy. Instead of having lots of different adapters like I've got over here. This one puts more outputs. And it can change voltages if you use a decoy in the sockets, or a proper cable and a phone. You can use some app to change it. Yeah, what do they call it? GANN, GANN metal in it. I think he's changed the sales page here. You can get a white one. I kind of like the black ones better though. Okay, so it says that socket there's 18 watts only. So reckons that top one's a 100 watt one. So that's why it needs to check the cable in case it melts it. So QC would be it's only 2.4 amps it says there. smart charger. It's got it all in that square there, so all of that's got to be QC if the cable supports it, which it doesn't. Charging speed, I think it can charge some things in 5 minutes instead of an hour, but it's saying there fast charging 49%, whatever that means. Charging speed 29% normal. Yeah, where's the information about the metal to keep it cooler? Yeah, they definitely added not. So he's got a checker on there too. Look, same as what I'm using. Go into the power thing, and they're charging up a battery. So they're using like a decoy there. Charge a battery bank of it. Anyway, didn't find the information that I was after. Does it say on here? GAN. So we have to look that up. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. It says there. For some reason the whole screen's blurry. So yeah, let's just do a Google search. GAN. Let's see. Dialog. No, it's not that, is it? Chinese spoken. We want power metal or whatever it's called. Power adapter. There we go. It's called gallium nitride. And they spell it like a capitals with a little a in it. Is a material that's starting to be used for semiconductors and chargers, and was used to make LEDs starting in 1990s. It's also a popular material for solar cells array. And the main thing about GAN when it comes to chargers is that it produces less heat. There you go. Oh well. Hopefully those are mucking around with these adapters. Hopefully this record comes out alright and makes sense to you. So yeah, cables are not all equal. And it's hard to believe that they can put a little chip inside a small plug, but they can. It's only like a few millimeters square, and it just sends back the cable specs to the chip inside that and says, well, that's the maximum it can draw. If it doesn't get any signal back, it simply just turns it off. Even if you've got it plugged in, as you saw with the phone and the mouse, it just won't charge. So I've got other things that I need to review. I've got my radiation detector, EMF, ghost finder, and other EMF meters. So I'll be doing that in future videos, doing a review. So I'll leave it there, and I'll see how well this come out. It looks very crappy video, actually. I probably should have used my other phone. It's got 3 cameras on it. It's got better cameras on it than this one I bought. But anyway, it's too late now. So yeah, a lot of stuff I bought from Ali, and gradually it's being all used here, right? Headphones with some Ali, keyboard, LED keyboard, power adapters, meters, remotes, universal remotes, dust cleaner. So yeah, what